Okay, so we are going to talk about a quick crash course on doing a search in Matrix. So I'm currently using the Miami Gateway. Whether you're going through Miami or you are going through Fort Lauderdale slash Broward County, slash Palm Beach County, the Matrix is both the same in each one. So don't put that. So you are going to log in with the information that the gateway that you've set up for your gateway. When you're logging into Miami, it looks a little different than if you're logging into Palm Beach and Broward, but you're going to the same place and you're going to be going to the Matrix link, and it will log you in automatically. Okay, so the first place we're going to start is starting a search. One place to start a search, by the way, is going to be your speed bar. The speed bar I limit to short addresses or MLS numbers. So you can, put in an MLS number, blah, 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 and you could hit enter, and it should bring up the listing. Be aware that you can also put in multiple MLS numbers. So if you have a list that you are setting up for, let's say, a showing or something, you can do multiple MLS numbers like that. For addresses, you want to keep it very short. You don't want to get too involved, or else it's going to come back with no results. So you're going to put in, for instance, the number. You can put in the directional, then you'll put in the street name. So for this particular property, it's 1470 North Dixie Highway, apartment, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to put in the highway. You're not going to put in a street. You're not going to put in a terrace. You're going to just put in that, and it brings up everything for that particular building. You can also add a status. So if you're only looking for the available units, you can put in an A for the available units. If you're looking for closed units, you can put in a CL, hold on a second. What is it? I think DS. Yeah, CS for closed. Pending is going to be a P. I am not doing well there. What is pending? Yes, I think it's pending. Nope. Pending. Let's see if we've got the new ones working. No. Okay. There may not be any pendings. Sorry. So that's probably one reason why. So pending would be a PS for pending sale. So that's the speed bar. That's the only thing I ever use it for. When you're doing a regular search, you're going to come up to the search tab at the top and pick what type of search you're doing it. Either most of the time you're going to be doing single family condo or condo here, or you're going to be doing residential rental. We can discuss the other types at another date, but again, this is going to be a quick down and dirty on how to do a search. Here's where you choose your status. So 80% of the time we'll be doing active. Active with contract is the new status for basically it's pending, but they are still entertaining backup offers. And then the other new one is coming soon. And those are units that are coming onto the market shortly, but they're not showing them yet. If you, let's say you were looking for closed sales, it automatically defaults to 0 to 180 days back. So that's 6 months. So if you wanted to go, further back, you can go further back, 2,500 days back, so I think you can go up to 6 years as far as the number of days goes. The other thing you're going to be choosing as well is right underneath it, you're going to either be choosing single family or the condo, co-op, villa, townhouse. And then if you scroll down a little bit further down to the type of property, it gives us the other options to narrow that down even more. So co-op, condo, condominium, hotel, those are hotel units, townhouses, and villas. Just so you're aware, a villa is basically like it's basically a single family home that's under a condo. It's governed by a condo board. The only place I've ever seen those, there's one place on the beach, and there's also Palm Air has a number of them as well. Looking for a waterfront property, you'll have this is a yes or no, and then you have pool. And they've got here the Miami board, it's broken out between pool for a single family home or pool for a condo building. In the Broward County Palm Beach board, you won't find that. In the middle section, you've got other options as far as the area goes. So as far as this area corresponds to the area map. If you look up in the corner, you'll see me holding up the area map. I'm a big fan of using the area maps because it defines areas pretty well. To find an area map, I will show you where to do that as soon as we're done here. Actually, if we come up here to, let me move this out of the way. I wonder if it's underneath here. Help. So in the help section, at the very bottom, you'll see the area maps and you'll have links to them. So this is the Fort Lauderdale one, and you click on the link and it pops it open. So you can print that from there. So again, that's underneath your drop down by your name in help, and then scroll down to the help index, you'll see the area maps, okay? Let's go back to our search. The other ways of defining the area is you can either choose it by county. You can also, also down here, which is a really great way, it's like the geographic area. So for instance, Fort Lauderdale Beach is 3130 to 3170. And you could take a look at the map and see where 3130 and 3170 is. It's basically all the properties on the beach. Fort Lauderdale Northeast does everything, I think, like east of 95 to the intercoastal and north of downtown, and then southeast is everything downtown. Again, I believe it's I-95 into the intercoastal, but you can check the individual areas to confirm that. You also have city down here as well. Okay. Another way of doing it is by map search, and I know a lot of people that you're either doing it one way or the other. You're either doing it by the area or doing it by the map. So your map search is here. And it will bring out, this big, huge area here as well. An easy way to to get to where you want to go faster is that there's a jump to address here. So you can put in an address. I'm going to use 1470 North Dixie again as an example. And then you hit enter and it brings us right there. So from here, I can, scroll out a little bit, and then I can choose how to define my area. So this little bad boy here is the polygon. You'll click on that, and then my cursor turns to a little crosshairs, and you're going to, what I'm doing is I'm clicking, releasing, clicking and releasing, clicking and releasing, and then closing it at the end. Okay, now it gives you an option when you hover over this little red dot to either delete it or exclude this shape. Meaning if I added another polygon, boink, I crossed into this one and I closed it, then I could say delete this shape, exclude this shape, or include the intersection only, which is kind of this area here. Okay. To get back to the page where we have our criteria, you would end up clicking on this criteria button here at the top, and we can get back to the rest of our stuff. Okay. And it has a little red area here, which is selected. So I'm actually going to clear this map because I'm not going to use that. You can also search by an address as well this way. So this is great if you're looking for a building, for instance. You could put in the street number 5550, the street direction, southeast, and then the street name. And so I'm looking for 5th Avenue. I'm not going to put in a TH here because some people have entered these into the MLS with the TH and some of them haven't. So you're going to avoid anything like that. Same thing with the speed bar. If you're putting in an address that has, 1622 Northeast 42nd Street, you're going to leave off the ND. It's just going to be 42. And then you could put in an A for available, a CS for the closed, etc. Same thing here. You can put in all this stuff, and I'm going to click on, and I click on this more button here. Actually, it's coming up with a 0. This is coming up with 550 Southeast 5th Avenue. This is coming up with 0 matches right now. Why? I'm not 100% sure. It could be because something I've actually clicked on before is actually stuck in here and I don't know it. So to do that, to get rid of all that stuff, there's two ways of doing it. You either hit clear and it clears out everything, or you come back up to the top and you click on search and you start all over again. So let's see if I do that again. It's 550. I'm almost positive that this is the address for 557. Maybe it's 551. Nope. I'm not sure. Well, that's the you get the point there. Let's use my 1470 example again. Get rid of that, and then we'll come over here to Dixie. And I've got one match, which is appropriate for that particular complex. There's only one active. If I click on the closed sales, should probably only be like a couple of, yeah, nothing's closed in that complex in the past 6 months. So that's another way of defining where you're searching. So kind of the second, so another way of searching as well is going to be by complex name, development name, subdivision development, complex legal. Okay, so if there's a little question mark next to something, it usually gives you an idea of what you can do for, like, what you would put into that particular thing. So let's say I was looking at 3370, which is the east half of Wilton Manors, and I was looking for Wilton Station, something in Wilton Station. I can come down here and I can put in the complex name, for instance. And sometimes you might have to guess. Sometimes you might have to try complex name and then erasing that one and trying a development name or subdivision name, or actually down here in all three. So when you're putting in a name for something, and let's say you don't know what the entire name is, or as an example, there are a number of different, for instance, for Wilton Station, some of them are named Wilton Station, some of them are named Wilton Station Condo, some of them are named, other things. But I can guarantee you that in Wilton Manors, there is no complex that has a name involved in it that's called Station. And every single one of those units has Station in it. So what do I do about the rest of the stuff? You can add something called a wild card. So a wild card is where you put a star in something, and anything at that, it can be anything at that star on the name. And then I'm going to put in Station, and then I'm going to put in another star. So this would actually search for anything that has Station in the middle. It could have anything on the right and anything on the left. And you'll notice now 5 matches end up coming up. So that sounds about right. Just to check it, I would end up cutting out that, sticking in development name and seeing what's in there. There's 3 matches. Okay. Let's try subdivision name and see what we get there. 5 matches. So that's the same as the complex name. And then all of them, I'm cut up with 5 matches. So I would probably go with either one of these 3 to give me what the 5 matches are. So that's how you use a wild card, and you use that only with when you're dealing with a field that you would enter a name for. Okay. Your price is going to default to this little checkbox of thousands is going to be in here when you're doing a search for condos or single family homes. If you're doing a search for rentals, this will be off because we don't search for rentals in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. So if I wanted to look for a price range, my client's looking, for instance, for a condo between 350 and 500,000, my price would go in here as 350 to 500, and this equates to 350 to 500,000. This will work for a number of fields that have where you would end up adding a number. So, like, as an example, bedrooms, baths, half baths, garage spaces. These fields are number fields. You can either put in a dash to do a range. You can actually put in a negative to put in $350,000 and under, or you can put in a plus sign for $350,000 and up. Okay, so that's how the number fields work. If I hover over this little bad boy here, it gives us exactly that information. So be aware that wherever you're adding something, there's probably going to be some sort of little help screen for you. Okay. So full baths, half baths, garage spaces, etc. Square foot of living area, your square foot adjusted. I never use that and don't do it. Your built you can use as well. And then we have other things down here as well. So in this particular, now getting into the other, these are more defined types of fields that you're looking at. These are amenities. Again, if your client is looking for a condo and they want to have a clubhouse, or they want a place with a tennis court or whatever, this is where you would do all the amenities. Now, be aware that the amenities, something like a field like an amenity, an agent chooses what goes in there, and they may have a limit as to how many they can put in. The amenities that, fortunately, there's I think 14 is the limit, but there's some other fields that there may be only 2 or 3. So as an example, in waterfront description, you can only use 3, and you want to make sure that you're getting the ones that you want that are most important. So in waterfront, for an example, non-fixed bridge would be, one of the most important things. Or another one would be oceanfront, okay? And then there are the additional field codes, which are down here. So these are where you can add or remove fields. And so things like, as an example, if you're looking for condos, the ones I strongly recommend putting in is pets. So I can search for pet here. I can click on pet allowed and then add it. And then I can do pet again, or I can probably scroll up a little. And there's pet description, and I can add that as well. I can move these up and down using these buttons here, and I can remove them using that button. Then I have the back button. So now I've got my pets here at the bottom. So are they allowed? Yes or no? And then I can have a description here, more than 20 pounds, blah, 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 blah. Be aware that when you've added these additional fields, they will stay here for your next thing. So once you have these added at one point, you won't have to worry about doing it again. Okay. Okay, so that's how we set up our search. Let me move this around so we've got some options here. I'm going to clear this out again. So I can search, come up here. And remember, if you're going back and forth and you're changing some things here and there, occasionally, sometimes the system will get glitched up and you may have to clear everything out and start all over again if you keep on getting a 0, a number back. So I'm going to put in an area here of 3270. That is actually Victoria Park. And I've got a clients here who are looking for a 3-bedroom. Actually, we'll say 3+. They're looking for a single family home, and their price range is going to be $500,000 to $800,000. Okay, not giving me a whole big lot there. Let's give me two matches. We're actually going to switch this around because right now the single family home market is a little insane. So there's not a lot on the market. So we're just doing this to get some activity here. So I've got 22 searches, 22 matches here that I can take a look at. So now I'm going to come over here and I can do one of 2 things when I'm looking at these results. I can either look at the results or I can look at the map. And that is actually in 2 places, up here and also down here. So if I take a look at the map, I'll be able to see where all these units are. I can hover over one of them. It gives me the price and the beds and baths. And I can click on it and it gives me some brief information. And to get to it, I can either click on this link or that link to get to actually the single page for that particular property. Okay. To get back to the list, there's all the time. Let's take a look up here. There's 2 places to do it. There's usually this a quick link for the agent single line display, or you can change the display here. This is where it has all of them, and single agent is actually one of them. Oh, that's single page, excuse me. Agent single line, there we go. And I'm back to my list, okay? I can always, if I need to, I can sort these by clicking on any one of these headers at the top, and it'll sort them by whatever I choose here. So if I want to sort them by list price, this is load high, okay? When I'm clicking these links, I'll go to somewhere. If you click on the address link, it's going to bring up the map. So don't do that if it's going to drive you crazy. Make sure you click on the MLS number, okay? So you'll click on the MLS number, you can review your property, okay? A great way of doing, like, so let's say I'm looking for a client and I am now going to scroll through all these and take a look at them and see what I'm going to send to my client. I'll start at the top, number 1, I can take a look, blah, 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 blah. I don't like that one, so I can click on next. But then I can look at this bad boy and I like this one. So I'm going to check off this little box here and click on next. I like this one. Click on next. I don't like this one. I'm skipping that. Click on next. I like this one. Click on next. I like this one. Okay, so you get the picture. These are the ones that I've chosen, and it'll tell you here I'm on units 6 of 22, and 4 of them have been checked. Okay. So I can go back to my single agent line here, and I can see what I've checked off and see how many I've left, etc. And then from here, it doesn't really matter whether I choose to email these from here or if I email them from the actual page. Anything that is checked off will be sent to your client if you choose to email them or to print them. Okay. If nothing is checked off and you hit email or print, just that one page is going to end up being printed or emailed. To email, you'll click on the email button and you'll type in the email address. If you already have contacts in here that are created already for you, you can click on this create a new contact and it'll bring up your contact screen and you can put in your contact information. So you'll have to have a first name, a last name, and at least an email address. So you can actually set them up this way. Okay. And if you don't want to do that, you can just type in an email address. Okay. Be aware that if you are setting a client up at a search, then they have to be saved. Okay. So I'm putting this is who this is going to. The subject line, I'm always going to put in the Victoria. I'm always going to put in something that makes sense to the client and it is pertinent to the search. And the reason why is when they click on the link and it brings up their search results, it is going to be named by the subject. So I'm going to put in Victoria Park Homes. You can put in Victoria Park single family. Actually, no, these were condos, if you remember. Remember, I got rid of that. So I've got Victoria Park condos. You can put in something in the body or you don't, and then you can hit send. And this will be sent to your last client. So what else? The other links that are within these properties as well, if you hover over them, it'll give you an idea of what we're talking about. These are quick links at the top. Your property history is going to be here. Let's hit next so we can see something that's a little more, this one's got a little more stuff going on. This gives you the property history for not at the dawn of time, but as long as they've got records for going it back. Okay. Here's a picture for the photos. This gives you the grid. Generally speaking, I usually stick with this. I'll click on that. I can scroll through them this way. And if I want to look at the grid section, I can do it from here. I can jump to what I want to look at. This is especially useful when you got a property that has like 100 pictures in it. So out of these particular links, the ones we use the most are going to be this map one. And if you are in Broward, Palm Beach County, there will be a map link up here as well for a quick link, but be aware the one up here is a static map and it's kind of small. You have to click on this one to get the type of map where you can actually scroll out, because this is pretty tight. I mean, I know this is Victoria Park, but if I wasn't familiar with the area, I'd want to be able to scroll out and see exactly where it is for the city. The next one that we use all the time is this blue one. It's called IMAP, and this brings up the tax record. So this one is very helpful as well, especially if you're writing an offer. You're going to need to get the property ID number here. You're going to need the owner's name to put into the dot loop, and you'll need the legal description as well, usually. The other ones that we use quite often are, let's see, this is the showing time one. So this is how you schedule a showing. So you could use this one up here, or there's also this showing time button down here. I'm not going to go into showing time with you right now. that will be another course. What else do we have up here? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, this is if you want to report an error. So you pop up, you click on that, and it'll bring up a real short thing. Here's the listing error. You say, hey, what's wrong with it? So it could be the wrong area. It should be in area 3230, and suggest a correction. You can send the error. So these errors go anonymously to the agent through the board, and it helps keep the information correct. Also, you've got your RPR report here as well. So when we click on that, if you're not familiar with RPR, definitely check it out. There's some great classes on it. CMA class is excellent. It really goes into everything. But what RPR does for in short is it gives you an idea of, it's basically like Zillow for realtors. So it's more accurate than Zillow is because it encompasses more information. And this, generally speaking, from experience, I can tell you this number is about 75% on the money. So and it will be able, you can always take a look and see how accurate it is, because here's the RVM confidence. This has got 5 stars. If it's like a 2, this the range here. So you'll see that there will be a range usually. Here's the range here. It's 582 to 618. This is a fairly tight range. If this was like a number 2, the range could be like $100,000, $150,000 difference. So be aware of that. Okay, so we talked about how to search for properties, how to choose them using the little next button here and clicking off the X's, and then how to email them to your client. Okay. Also be aware that you can send these emails. For instance, let's say I did a search here in Victoria Park, and let's say I wanted to clear this out, or I can go back to the criteria button, and instead of clearing the whole thing out, I can just change the area. So instead of Victoria Park, I can now change it to say 3280, which is the aisles here, and then I can go through and see if there's anything in the aisles that I want to send them, and then send them another email. So we'll say boink, 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 and I'm going to email these to my client as well. Bob.Kimball@infinityprops.com. I gotta get that correct there. There we go. And this is going to be the OS files window search, right? And hit send. Okay. I come back to my email, and there should be 2 emails, ideally, from Tom Stravecki. So that's who I'm logged in as right now. So here's the Victoria Park Condos email, and there is a link here. This is the email that your client is getting. So just be aware that they get a different view than you get, okay? When they click on this view all listings button, they get this. It's much easier to read. There's, a map here that has the properties on them, and then over here on the right-hand side, it's got the little the little baby ones for the particular unit. And then when you open it up, they've got a picture here, and they have a whole bunch of information here. Pretty much almost everything that you have, except for they don't have the listing agent's information. So this way, if they have any questions, they will contact you and not the listing agent. You don't have to worry about that. So this is actually, again, very user-friendly for the client. And then what I mentioned, as I mentioned before, I broke this up into 2 different emails. One was at Victoria Park Condos, and the other one, if I go back, this is the Las Olas Isles condo one. And I click on that, and it brings up my Las Olas Isles condos. So why would I want to do that? This way I can write an email to my client and sit here and say, okay, so, Joe, okay, check out these condos, and exclamation point, and then I can say these are Victoria Park, and then I can come up here and I can click on the window that has the Victoria Park ones open and copy this. Copy that, come over here, and then hit paste, and then come down here and say Las Olas Isles, and I can come back up here, grab the Las Olas Isles ones, copy, and then come over here and hit paste. And now I can break them up and these searches will happen that way. So I really like doing that when I'm sending something for somebody to take a look at. Just be aware if I'm sending them stuff to take a look at and I want them to let me know which units they want to use. So for instance, let's say on a showing that you're setting up for them, I always tell them to respond to let me know which properties you like by the email address. 80% of the time they'll do it, and sometimes they won't. They'll just still give you the address. But when they respond to you, you'll be able to click these links and go back and see, okay, what the MLS number was she talking about? Blah 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 blah. So when I come down here, I can say, you know, click on that one, and there is the MLS number. It should be at the top actually. So there's the MLS number right there, and it should actually be in these little ones too. But I guess not. Yeah, so yeah, you'll have to go through those. So, and then why do I want to get the MLS numbers as opposed to the addresses? That way, when I come back to Matrix, I can use the speed bar to put in all the MLS numbers and be able to set up my search easily by just seeing the units they want to see at that particular time. Okay. With that, so that's basically how you do searches. How to save things is that you come down here to the save button. So let's say I've got these 3 properties saved, or I have this entire search here. Click on, you know, if I go back to the criteria, this is the search that I've done for Las Olas Isles. I would click on the results button and then hit the save button. And it gives me 3 different options to save these. So I'm going to save this as a new auto email. The reason why I want to do that is I would want to do that because this is how you set up a contact, a client to get the emails that come to them, you know, as they come on the market. So I'm in here as Tom. He has no contacts in here, so I'm actually not going to add one. But what you end up doing is again, the subject needs to be or should be related to the type of search that is. It's what the property is. As an example, this is Las Olas Isles. This is already pre-done for you. And then you have your choices here as to how they want to be sent out. So you don't have to choose any of these things. And it'll be a regular search for them. You know, they can get emails daily, or you can change this to ASAP. So as properties come on the market, they will automatically get the emails. Okay. And then hit save. So if I click on ASAP, I can click save. And again, it's going to tell me I need a subject line. I need a contact here as well. And then your clients will end up getting their search. Now, there are other types of searches here, specifically the concierge search and such, that we'll discuss at another time. I did want to stick to basic searches here, which is what we're doing today. We can get into the other ones at another time. You pretty much are set at this point as far as you know, how to search and what to search for and how to get information out to your client. If you have any questions about how to do these things, or more in-depth training, come to the Realtor Board's website. So let's see, I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, what do we got? Miami, additional products. Usually there will be a link somewhere that brings us back to the board for training. Maybe. I will have to get a little more research on here for the Miami board to find out where the education classes are. Again, I'm going to guess that they are, oh, here we go, education. What do we got? This is the Florida Association of Realtors Education Board, which is not going to help us. We want the Miami Board's education thing. I'll find out about it and I will shoot you an email on where to find it. But generally speaking, so instance, as an example, the Fort Lauderdale board has got a section where it is and I'm sure the Miami board's got this as well, so don't fret about that. We just got to find it. When I come in here to the board here, there's going to be an education tab here. And this brings us back to the Fort Lauderdale Board's Education Department. And here's the calendar that's coming up. I don't want a calendar. I don't want to see an upcoming class. I want to see what has actually already been recorded. So I'm going to go to this video library link here. And it gives us all of our tags here. So I want matrix information. There's matrix. And if I hover over these, well, I'm supposed to hover. Aren't you hovering for me? Hover for me. Hover, hover, hover. Okay, let's try this. Let's go back. Town hall. Here we go, matrix. Matrix X 101, adding listings. Here's Matrix 101, search techniques. Matrix advanced search techniques. So these videos are really much more in depth. And I can always send you the links for these things. You can probably search for them in YouTube, you know, Matrix 200, whatever, Beaches MLS, and these are all public. But each one of these is about an hour. So they're very, very in depth. And they cover a lot of ground, but this teaches you how to use Matrix, you know, fully. So what we just did is basically a quick down and dirty. So again, if you have any questions, shoot me a text. Let me know how things go, and I'm always here to help. So my cell phone number is 954. Actually, I'm not going to do that because this is probably going to go on Facebook. So yeah, just shoot me a text here at the office. Okay, take care.